Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are the best team in the NBA, and they're shredding through the rest of the league. Right now, they are making history. This is a historically good team, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. They have not lost a regular season game since December 1st, when Fred VanVleet had the craziest magnet ball performance I've ever seen in my life. He had 39, he was hitting logo threes, but since then, they have been impossible to beat. They've won 14 straight games coming in today's matchup against the Boston Celtics. That is a Thunder record for win streak. It ties the Supersonics record if you count that all as the same lineage. I personally don't, but if you do, they had a chance to go ahead and even break that today against the Celtics. And this felt like a moment where the Thunder, for the first time in a while, could go ahead and slip up because OKC is injured. Chet Holmgren out still since the beginning of the year when he hurt his hip. He only played 10 games. We haven't seen him since. Alex Caruso also dealing with a hip injury. Don't know why the Thunder need more hips, but apparently they do. AJ Mitchell, second round rookie who's been making a big impact offensively, also not in this one, while the Celtics were fully healthy. JT, Jalen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Derek White, Jrue Holiday, all their guys were out there. They were ready to go. They came into Oklahoma City with the Thunder. Again, still holding on to this win streak. You'd have to think at some point they would lose a game, and it felt possible that it could come against the reigning champions, the squad that everybody thinks if the Thunder make it to the finals, they'll probably go ahead and face off against, although Cleveland also making a name for themselves out east. And for the first half, it looked like the Celtics were going to put the win streak to bed. They were going ahead and dominating on the interior. This is a matchup for the Thunder where they really need Chet Holmgren, because with the Celtics, all their perimeter players, the mobility and stretchability of Kristaps Porzingis, you really need some size, but more specifically, you need a mobile big, someone who can cover ground, and Chet Holmgren really is that guy for the Thunder. Ihart was doing his best, but he's not quite as versatile defensively as Chet Holmgren, who's one of the best defensive bigs in the league. They really missed Alex Caruso guarding up on several of those Celtics perimeter players because a lot of guys were going crazy, like Derek White was hooping and Jalen Brown really was taking over in the first half, and it felt like the Thunder would probably fall in this one, or at least it felt like a real possibility. But I tweeted this out the other day. It doesn't matter to me who the Thunder are playing, what the deficit is. I have all year trusted this team to come back and win, and they have continuously done that. They were down double digits to the Knicks the other day at halftime, and they ended up running away with that one and winning by double digits. And in the second half, the Thunder basically replayed that script because the defense amped all the way up to 13 out of 10. Some shots started falling. Shai started doing MVP stuff, and in the end, the Thunder win 105-92, a 13-point win over the defending NBA champions. And in the second half, keep in mind, the Celtics had 65 points at halftime. They held them to 27 points over 24 minutes. The Boston Celtics, who have not scored less than 104 points this entire season, scored 27 and finished with 92, by far the lowest mark that the Celtics have had this entire season. It was an annihilation. Jalen Brown, not a single point in the second half. The turnovers were flying all over the place. The Celtics did have some tough time shooting threes. They missed a few open looks, but the Thunder continuously made them as difficult as possible, forced them into tough decisions, trying to get downhill, and they just couldn't do anything against this Thunder defense, which I made a full video about recently. But this has an argument for the best defense of all time. After this game, they're currently sitting way far ahead of the Houston Rockets as the number one overall defense. Houston is in second place with a 106.2 defensive rating. The Thunder have a 102.7, and that's the second biggest gap in NBA history between 1 and 2 in a single season in defensive rating since the Knicks over the Jazz in 1993. This team is just eviscerating the rest of the NBA on the defensive end, whether it's Shai creating havoc, it's J-Dub, who should be in all defensive conversations, it's Lou Dort, it's Casey Wallace, it's Caruso when he's healthy, it's Kenrich Williams out there stonewalling guys on the perimeter or on the interior and playing a lot bigger than he is. It's Isaiah Hartenstein, who's done such a good job filling in for Chet Holmgren since his injury, which, by the way, they are without Chet Holmgren, who is one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. He was up there as Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner, basically tied with Wemby in the betting odds through those first 10 games of the season before he got injured. Chet is a shot blocker. He's a highly mobile big. He's one of the greatest defensive forces we have in this league, and the Thunder have not had him outside of the first 10 games, really only 9 games and a few minutes in that Warriors game where he got hurt, and they're still one of the best defenses of all time. They are 30-5. They're on a 70-win pace without Chet, who is the team's second best player and was playing like a top 20 guy in the league. He was not only going to be an all-star lock, he was going to be in all NBA conversations if he didn't get hurt. That guy is still scheduled to come back and has hardly played this season. He and Isaiah Hartenstein have not played a single minute together this year. That's unbelievable with how good this team is. They've won 15 straight with their second best player, an all NBA caliber guy, not seeing the floor. That's basically unheard of, and a lot of that is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who in my opinion is the clear frontrunner for MVP at the moment. Jokic is doing some insane stuff. He is my second place guy, but the way that the Thunder are winning, the way that Shai has elevated his game ever since Chet went down, today he had 33 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 stocks, had that huge chase down block on Jason Tatum, and then threw the dime to Isaiah Hartenstein for the lob that went ahead and basically sealed this one, a poster over Derek White. He is a two-way player, one of the best scoring guards we've ever seen. He's having one of the most efficient mid-range scoring seasons of all time. He's one of the best finishers in NBA history. There's basically nothing Shai can't do. He's even hitting threes this season. Today against the Celtics, he went ahead and knocked down 3 of 6 threes, and that percentage is up to 36% on the season, and he's taking a lot more. So not only is he at his peak defensively, he's at his peak offensively, he is hitting threes. There's no weakness in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's game. This guy is the best player on the best team in the Western Conference by far, by the way. The difference between them and the Rockets is 7.5 games. The difference between the Rockets at the 2 seed and the 12-seeded Suns is 6.5. The Thunder are running away with the Western Conference, have one of the best defenses of all time, with Shai being a cog in that. Despite Chet being hurt, he is the clear MVP, and he's the head of the snake. But really, it is everybody in one way or another. J-Dub, it's been a pretty down stretch for him offensively, but defensively, he's become one of the best defensive wings in the entire league. He, in my opinion, at this moment should be a lock for an all-defensive team. I don't know if it changes by the end of the year, but right now should be a lock. Lou Dort, another really high-level defender. I talked about Caruso. Cason Wallace, shout out to him. He had such a monster game in this one, went ahead and made numerous big plays, had one crazy bucket where he just put Drew Holiday in the rim, just really shouldered him off and finished up and over him. Isaiah Hartenstein was my dream offseason acquisition for the Thunder. I said, pay whatever you can. If he wants $1 billion, give it to him, because he's going to make such a difference, and he has. I don't know where we would be if he wasn't here and we didn't have Chet Holmgren, whether it's the push shots, it's the playmaking, one of the best playmaking bigs in the league, the rebounding, his ability to really step up defensively down low against some of those bigger opponents. In the second half, he was like perfect against anybody that the Celtics threw at him. They would get switches on the perimeter, and Ihart would go ahead and get great contests. He would force the guys into other defenders. Just such a good player. Aaron Wiggins has been going berserk as of late. Isaiah Joe starting to hit some more and more threes as his shot continues to come along, and that's one thing too. The Thunder really have not been a good shooting team at all so far this season, and last year they were one of the best three-point shooting teams. They were the best percentage-wise, but it wasn't on a crazy volume. The Thunder only 19th in the NBA in three-point percentage, and I believe that is going to keep coming up, and they have the opportunity, if they want to make trades to add to this team. Cam Johnson is somebody that's been rumored, but it doesn't even have to be him, because the Thunder have $1 billion first-round picks. They've got tradable contracts. They can basically make any move they want to happen within reason. Like, you're not getting like a Jokic or anything, but if there's a role player or a semi-star player that you want to go out there and acquire, I'm not saying that I think the Thunder have to, because if you ask me, they don't need to make any changes to this team to be a championship contender. They are one, but if for some reason Sam Presti decided to, he has all the assets at his fingertips to continue to make more moves. OKC right now is in an unprecedented situation where they have a top 3 player in the NBA in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's a historic defense, one of the best that we've ever seen. When Chet comes back, this may legitimately go down as the best defense of all time. I'm not exaggerating. That is like nowhere near hyperbole. That just might be the objective fact when he returns. 2 extremely young, great supporting stars in Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, and I do believe J-Dub's offense is going to come back around. I think when Chet returns, it'll open up the game for him more, and if we add more shooting, or if the shooting continues to come back to what it usually is, then that will also open it up for him a little bit more as well. But he's just been too efficient of a player throughout his early career to think that these struggles continue. So him and Chet Holmgren, amazing young stars that are on the rise rapidly. Both are gonna have all-star cases, or would have if Chet didn't get hurt. Chet would have been a lock. It's one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Mark Daigneault is one of the best coaches in the NBA, like genuinely generational defensive mind from him. Yeah, I mean, this team is just absolutely loaded. I'm for real when I say that this is the best team in the NBA. I think the Celtics and Cavaliers would both give them a really hard time in the finals. If I had to pick the hardest out for the Thunder in the Western Conference playoffs, I would probably still say Dallas, just because Luka and Kyrie are insane. But the more that I watch this season, I watch this Thunder team play the way that they have, with the injuries that have come along with it, I truly believe this squad will be in the NBA Finals, facing either the Celtics or Cavs. I think today was an NBA Finals preview. I do think Boston gets there again, and I do believe they will win the finals. This is the season where the Thunder finally raise the Larry O'Brien trophy. It'll be a Shai MVP. It'll be a Shai Finals MVP. This is the season. I'm speaking into existence. You can talk about a cone curse or whatever. This team is going to be the one to get over the hump. I believe it. I'm making my statement now, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds. Thankfully, we get another great game. If you're a neutral fan, if you're a Thunder fan, Cavs fan, whatever, the Thunder and Cavaliers play in just a couple of days here on Wednesday, January 8th. That's going to be an amazing one because that's a battle of two squads that right now are on pace for 70 wins. The Cavs are 30-4, the Thunder are 30-5. Cannot wait for that one. That's going to be a special game. Hopefully it's as good as this Celtics one was and the Thunder Knicks game was, because both of them were classics. But yeah, I can't wait for that one. And the Thunder are going to continue to go through a gauntlet here with some of the top teams in the East, because they play the Cavs, then it's the Knicks, and then it's the Wizards, which is a little bit different. But then the Sixers, and then the Cavs, and then the Mavericks. They've got some tough games through the first two games of that gauntlet, which was New York and the Celtics, and even the Clippers on the first half of a back-to-back. They've made it look trivial against a lot of these top teams. So yeah, that's where the Thunder are right now. That's how I'm feeling. Feeling great. This is a historically great team, and I think one day we'll look back on it as one of the best teams of the 2020s. I appreciate you all watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Let me know what you think about this Thunder team. Where could they be defensively when Chet comes back? Do you think they could win a championship? If not, tell me why. I think you're wrong, but I'd love to hear your reasoning behind it. But yeah, appreciate you all watching. I'll see you all later. Real one, say it back. Thunder up.